Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nakia, and today's video is going to be a reaction video to my very first exam. So stick around, guys, to find out if I passed or if I bummed the test. So we took our test. It was on yesterday. It's been a long week, guys, so far. It's only Thursday. But we took our test yesterday, and the test was on 6 chapters. And none of the chapters were difficult, but it was only one chapter, and it was on perfusion. I thought it was going to give me a little bit of a challenge, but it didn't. So thank God, the test only consisted of 50 questions. And before I go into detail about this test, we had to utilize a system called Proctorio. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with that system, but it's a rather new system that some of the colleges are going through. But I had already had like two times with this system, and that was to take my TEAS test. The first TEAS test, well, both of my tests were done from the comfort of my own home, so that made me feel a little bit more comfortable. And there are a few steps to Proctorio before you even begin a test, and I'm going to tell you about that in a few seconds. So the very first time that you ever access Proctorio, you have to use Google Chrome. You can't use Firefox, you can't use Safari, you can't use Internet Explorer. It has to be Google Chrome's web browser. So that's the biggest thing. So once you download Google Chrome, then you will type into the search bar, download Proctorio, and you'll go through the various steps of setting it on your screen. And once everything is downloaded, you will open it up, and then before you actually start a test, you have to go through some pre-exam checks. And what those pre-exam checks are checking for is to make sure that your desktop or laptop are up to par with all of the requirements. Your computers have to have a microphone, a webcam, and a great internet connection. So I have, as you can see in the back, I have a MacBook. Now everything checked out on my MacBook except the part where it says desktop, because the MacBook is old. It's like an early 2015 version. So I had to opt out and use my desktop, which I prefer to use anyway. So once I did my checks on my iMac, those 4 things were checked off. So I was ready to roll. So after you do your checks, you have to make sure that you have either your student ID or your driver's license in front of you, because you have to actually put it in front of your camera so that they can see that whoever is taking the test matches up with who is on the ID. And then you have to scan your desk area. And that's so there won't be any cheating going on or anything foul going on during the test. Because the word proctored means you're being watched. So as for working on a desktop, it's kind of hard you can't just take the screen and just move the screen. So I had to have a big mirror, put it in front of the camera, and just maneuver the mirror around so that whoever's watching me can see my desk. And my desk, as you can see, is got a few things on it, but my desk was completely clean yesterday when I took the test. So once that is done, then you are ready to begin the test. So there are a few steps to Proctorio, and some of the students from last year said that they didn't use this system. They just went straight to Moodle, which is our main platform that we see all of our school items, and they just took the test from there. But this year, I guess they're just switching up some things, so we had to use Proctorio. So the test, like I said, it was on 6 chapters, and that was assessment, that was clinical decision making, perfusion, law and ethics, and it was one more that I'm failing to mention. But I thought my son was coming in. But 6 chapters, and they weren't very long chapters, but it was enough to be 6 chapters. So 6 chapters, and it was 50 questions. You had like a minute and a half on each question, which I thought was reasonable. So they gave us an hour, I think an hour and 30 minutes, but hey, it only took me 30 minutes. And once I was done, I went back to make sure I didn't skip a question, which I rarely do anyway, but just to make sure I didn't skip anything, because if you skip a question, that's an automatic wrong answer. So just to be safe, if you got enough time left over, please go back to make sure you didn't skip any questions. And I know sometimes they say it's not good to second guess yourself. Your first answer is normally the best. But I was just going back to make sure I didn't skip any questions, which I didn't. So I guess you're wondering if I passed my test, and I did. Yay! My very first test, I passed. I didn't get the score that I really was aiming for. I've always been hard on myself, and my son is the same way. He beats himself up when he gets a lower score than what he thought he was going to get. But hey, I passed. That's the main thing. If you ask me something about any particular chapter, I probably can tell you the answer. So that's the main thing, guys. Don't beat yourself up if you didn't get the score that you thought you was going to make. As long as you can recite the information that you acquired from those chapters, hey, you've won. So guys, I thank you for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, because it does help me out. And hit the like button, or if you have any other questions on about Proctorio or anything that I discussed in this video, please put it in the description box. And until then, I'll see you later.